I'm Chef Mans, and we are going to start with cutting up our vegetables. Got a nice healthy green pepper, onion, garlic. We're going to do it the hard way because we like fresh garlic. A lot better flavor than what's canned and what you would normally get in a container like this. So we'll start with our green pepper and use my knife to cut right through the bottom, cut it in half. Then I'm going to cut right into removing the seeds and the white area. If you're not comfortable using this knife, a chef's knife, you can always use a paring knife or something smaller. These little leftovers I like to save for vegetable stock or when I'm making a chicken soup. Those things really come out with a lot of flavor. Put them in with a little chicken broth, cook them up, and then use a colander to take out what's left. Parts that have all been cooked down and no longer useful to you. And then what you have left is a very tasty vegetable stock that you can use. This is a perfect time of year for when people get a cold and just don't feel well. Homemade chicken soup like Grandma used to make. Well, this is where it comes from. There's a time when people were a little less wasteful, and I think those days are starting to come back. So I'm going to keep these things to the side while I'm cutting. Alright, so now that I have the insides removed, green peppers hollowed out, I'm going to go back to my chef's knife. It's nice to do like some chefs on TV do and have a garbage bowl. This, however, we're going to put into a plastic bag and put into the freezer for when it's time to make some chicken soup. So I'm going to go back to my chef's knife. I'm going to cut the green pepper to nice little strips. It can be a rough cut. It doesn't have to be perfect julienne or anything like that, because we're just going to dice it up and put it into our pan. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of saute these vegetables before they even make their way into our spaghetti. This is not a restaurant, so it doesn't have to be perfect. That's half our green pepper. Get a skillet. I'm going to go ahead and put what I've diced up into the skillet. I'm going to go ahead and proceed with the other half of my green pepper. Just rough strips again, and then I'm just going to dice that up. Alright, other half is diced up. Throw that into the pan. A little saute pan. Next we're going to move into our onion. Standard little yellow onion, sweet onion. But I'm going to teach you a little trick that you probably didn't know about an onion. Big thing about what makes an onion cry is this bulb right here on the end. This bulb is what makes people cry. So we're going to use our paring knife and just cut into our bulb. I'll put our blade in about a third, not even really half of the way. Just make almost like a pentagon or octagon shape. and cut around the bowl. Oops, missed my bowl. And out pops the ball. This is what makes you cry. So now that that's been removed, I'm going to cut our onion in half. Then I'm going to remove the skin and proceed to dice it like we did our green onion. Making sure that I put the skin, even the paper skin, and that one little thin layer right under it, right into the bowl that we're going to use to make stock some other day. Of course, you got this little rough edge right here, the root. Not a problem, just trim it right off. Same with this. Once those have been cut up, half our onions, we're going to dice them up. See, that's pretty easy, almost like a company that we know and grew up with. No more tears. Put the other onion in the pan. Alright, so next we're going to cut some garlic, fresh garlic. So you put the skin into the bowl. That too is pretty good for a vegetable stock later. So we're just going to break off a couple decent sized cloves to work with. Secret to getting the skin off of a clove is to use the back of the knife and smash it. What happens is the skin breaks right off. Just peel it off and put it in a bowl. And do that with the next couple pieces. Alright, so here's another secret from the kitchen. This blade is a stainless steel blade. Anytime you deal with garlic, you get this sticky residual, and it really stinks on your hands. Fill your sink about halfway with water, and then rub your fingers up against the side of the stainless steel knife to get the smell off. So we're going to rough chop our garlic and put that to the side because garlic burns fairly easily. So we don't want to put that in the pan with the green onions and the yellow onions. We want to save that until closer to the end. there we have our garlic, and we're going to put that to the side. The reason why we cut our vegetables first is to avoid any type of cross-contamination with the meat. And what we're going to do is we're going to saute our vegetables and put those to the side to put into our sauce while we cook the meat and while we cook the pasta. So I'm just going to bring this up to a good temperature where I can hear it start to sizzle and pop a little bit, and then we're going to get that going and put that in with some sauce. But in the meantime, to avoid any type of cross-contamination, what we did was we kept our vegetables and our meat far away from each other. Got a little spoon. You can hear a little bit of a sizzle with the vegetables, which is good. Just going to move them around a little bit, make sure they're not burning or sticking. Nice medium to medium-high heat is good for this. Vegetables are sauteing. While we wait for that, you want to keep an eye on it. I keep my spoon right here. And what we're going to do is we're just pick apart our meat now. Put that into a separate pan so we can start to cook. Have some ground beef, 75-25. Put that in. And then this is the fun part. Mild Italian sausage. Italian sausages are good for spaghetti. And what you want to do is you want to cut the casing off. So I use a paring knife real quick just to break the casing. And then I'm going to pull the meat right out of the casing, put it in the skin. Okay, fairly easy.